All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for attending, and I just wanted to say my name is Dr. Sarmiento, and I am the S.U.P.E.R counselor at Ramona High School and also in overseeing the S.U.P.E.R counseling program. And today, Zamara and Lucy are going to be presenting on human trafficking, and Darnell Smith will be monitoring the chat if anybody has any questions. Okay, so go ahead, ladies.
I have the next slide, please. Okay. So in this presentation, we'll be answering the following questions. What is human trafficking? What does it look like? Who are the victims? Where is it happening? How can we better protect ourselves from human trafficking? So what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is an act of tricking, luring, or forcing a person into leaving their home to work for little or no payment. It is a modern-day slavery where people are traded, sold, and bought. Next slide, please. Sex trafficking is a crime of psychology. Victims are often groomed, and they aren't aware that they are victims until the violence begins and it is too late. Sex trafficking shows no morals or concerns for the lives of the victims. To the perpetrator, the victims are just objects to be sold on the market. Sex trafficking is all about money. And the actual definition of sex trafficking is the illegal business of recruiting, harboring, transporting, obtaining, or providing, especially of a minor, for the purpose of sex. Next slide, please. So national versus domestic, looking at the percentages, 25 to 40% of the sexual trafficking victims tend to be foreign national trafficking. 45 to 60% of the sexual trafficking victims fall under domestic sex trafficking. So an example of foreign national trafficking would be Chinese nationals prying on Chinese nationals. What this looks like is Chinese victims believing they are being offered a legitimate job. When they come to the States, they realize they are being taken away into a car or a rented room where they are beaten, robbed, or abused. Next one, please. How is this done? So victims are often tricked, so promise a new life, helped immigrating, lured, so a fake job that has no negative aspects, force, so kidnapped and beaten. Next slide, please. The steps of human trafficking. So the step one would just be the act, so getting you there, so recruiting you. The second act would be the means, so threat or forced, abusing their power. And step three would be the purpose, so why they're doing it. So sexual exploitation, forced labor, slavery, or something similar to that. And it all equals trafficking. And did you know, according to the Illinois report, until 2017, 40.8 million people are trafficked for sexual exploitation. Additionally, under the Penal Code of 647, it is illegal throughout the state of California to engage in or solicit prostitution. So what this means exactly is offering or paying money to exchange for sexual acts is illegal.
What does it look like? Common work and living conditions. Is providing sexual acts or work in exchange for services and benefits. Not free to leave or come and go as they wish. Unpaid or paid very little by tips and cash. Recruited through false promises concerning the nature and conditions of his or her work. Work or living space features tinted windows, boarded up windows, bars on windows, barbed wire, and security cameras. Poor mental health, abnormal behavior, anxious, depressed, fearful, submissive, paranoid. Poor physical health, no access to health care, physical and or sexual abuse, physical restraint, confinement, or torture like bruises, cuts, etc. What to watch out for. Here are some potential sex trafficking signs. Individual is sleep deprived and very hungry. He is carrying a burner phone, a prepaid phone. Individual is being controlled or afraid to speak. He or she may not have control over money and ID. Other signs to look out for consist of bruises, scratches, cut marks or burns, strangulation marks, bite marks, and ankle marks. Signs of electrocution, PTSD, depression or apathy, damages to knees and feet, branding, tattoos, example, barcodes. Who are the victims? Victims of human trafficking can be young children, teenagers, men, and women. They can be U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, or foreign nationals, and they can be found in urban, suburban, and rural areas. Minors under the age of 18 who are induced to perform commercial sex acts are victims of trafficking, regardless of whether their traffickers used force, fraud, or coercion. Where is it happening? In the United States, it is most prevalent in Texas, Florida, and New York City. A real example. Case of Alice from Florida. Alice was 11 years old and lived in Florida. Her perpetrator was 24 years old from Illinois. Alice and her perpetrator chatted in a Minecraft server. Alice and her family went on a vacation in Georgia where her family rented a Holiday Express Inn. Alice was reported missing later from that inn, and Alice's perpetrator admitted he disguised himself as a female to pull her into a trap. It was confirmed Alice snuck out in the middle of the night because she believed she would be meeting a friend. How can we help protect ourselves from human trafficking? Always be vigilant and aware of your surroundings. People are often distracted by their phones or other little things when they're walking. Make sure you're aware of what's going on around you so that you can spot when something is off. If you notice a person or a car following you, alert someone you trust immediately. Women have been forcibly kidnapped while walking in the street. You shouldn't have to be restricted when you go out, and it may spare that you always have to be on the lookout, but for your own safety, try not to walk alone, especially in quiet areas. Be suspicious of strangers who approach you after you've posted something personal on your social media profile, and they're suddenly offering help, advice, money, a place to stay, or a job opportunity. If you're getting random messages from people on social media, check your privacy settings. Turn off your location settings on social media and only make your posts visible to your friends. Also, avoid checking into places on social media. Resources and recommendations. Equip yourself with useful knowledge by Thursdays, Exploited Crimes Against Humanity at 7 a.m. PST. Turning into our radio show, AM 590, Exploited Crimes and Technology, 3 p.m. PST. Checking out Seduced: The Grooming of America Teenagers, and useful books that examine real cases to illustrate how predators use social media and online gaming to access, groom, recruit, and exploit teenagers and children. Checking out Societal Shift: A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls, a book that examines real cases and ideal parent for parents and guardians. Dehumanizing an individual for capital gain is atrocious and unacceptable. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. If you know someone who is being sex trafficked, please contact this email. You can call anonymously at the National Human Trafficking Hotline.
Okay, so thank you. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, please make sure to email. You can email my email, ksarmiento@riversideunified.org. Thank you so much, ladies. I'll hang out for a couple questions if anybody has questions. All right, I'll go ahead and end it. Thank you, guys.